Drills Talk, episode 84. In this episode, we're going to discuss the top 3 reasons multitasking is not a skill. This is based on a blog I wrote in the past entitled, You Only Think You're Multitasking. Multitasking is something we take pride in. Everybody thinks they're experts at it. We practice it all the time. The thing is, it kind of prides us to say, we knocked out 2 birds with 1 stone. The thing is, we've never seen anybody knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. And we think that we can give multiple things 100% of our attention. How many times have you been sitting down, concentrating on something, and then just go into a daydream? Yeah, that takes away from that 100%. Let's discuss. Created by the great wizard of the new world. Drills Talk, episode 84. In this episode, we're going to discuss the top 3 reasons multitasking is not a skill. But before we get started, please like, subscribe, share, comment. However you would like to show your love, please do so. It is greatly appreciated. Every Monday here, we have a new blog. Every Wednesday, a new Drills Talk. Every Friday, I release an instrumental beat produced by yours truly to get that weekend started right. Let's get started. Number 1. Number 1 is it's not possible. It's simply and scientifically not possible to think about 2 things at the same time. Sorry, I know most of us are saying, well, no, I can do 2 things. But technically, you cannot. You're just switching attention one to another. All right. So if you want to look it up after this video, please feel free to do so. Prove me, or prove it to me and prove it to yourself that I'm wrong. I would love to hear your explanation. But let's just go off of that. I've looked this stuff up and I know what I'm talking about. It's impossible to give one thing 100% of your attention, as we touched on in the intro. But to think that you can give 2 or 3 or 4 things your undivided attention, it's just not realistic. And just to think about, let's say you can give 100%. And you don't feel that you don't have to, you don't have to give everything 100%, but you can give yourself 100%. All right, well, if you're doing 3 things, that's 33%. How well do you think you're doing at a task, giving 33% of your attention to it? Probably not that well, right? One thing at a time. And even if we're giving one thing our undivided attention, we still probably go around the 80% mark, right? Because we are daydreaming. Things do come up. We do have a computer on our hip that vibrates, has notifications. We may have kids. Things happen. TV may be on. You're listening to music. The song you really like comes on. You stop. The song you don't really like comes on. You stop because you have to skip that song, right? Everything happens around us and we think that we're giving our undivided attention to something that's just not true. And now to understand that you can't give one thing your undivided attention, you should definitely understand that giving 2 is impossible. And you're hurting yourself. Number 2. Number 2 is you're limiting your chance of success. Let's say an optimal peak, great average, high average person can give 80% of their attention to something, right? That's like not the 100 we talked about. Let's just say 80. That's the high. Meaning that an average person can probably give 60% of their total attention to something. Now, if you are splitting that, even if it's just 2 things, we're down to 40% on the high end, the special person, the superstar, quote unquote, multitasker. And we're talking about 30% or less for the average person. How well do you think your chances are at success? Now, you may finish the task, but how well was that task done? How well do you think it could have been done? If you think that was good at 30% or 40%, if you're like this genius superstar multitasker, quote unquote, how good would 80 have been? How much further in your life would you be focusing on one thing from start to finish? How good would that thing be? Imagine cooking, for instance. Let's say you're good at cooking 3, 4 things, and I'm not expecting anybody to be a chef. And I know there's some chefs out there. Congratulations, you have more than 3 or 4 things. But for most of us, we're good at like 3 or 4 things. Now, we can get cocky one night. We're making this thing. We make it all the time. And we attempt to multitask, right? We want to hold a conversation while we're in the kitchen. And our dish, our famous dish that everybody's waiting to eat, just didn't hit home that time. Why do you think that was? We're experts. We've made this dish 50, 100, 200 times, but we weren't paying full attention. We didn't give it our all, which is not 100% in the first place. We have to understand that giving something your full and undivided attention is still not 100%. So don't dare cut that in half by trying to pay attention or give attention to something else. Imagine how much better everything you do will be if you just focus on that one thing until you're done. Number three, it doesn't give a competitive advantage. It makes no sense to multitask. What are we doing it for? We do it to save time. We're not saving time because we're going to mess up both of the things we're doing. So we got to go back and make those changes. At work, if we're in a meeting, say you're in a corporate setting, right? You're in a meeting, you're trying to get something done for meeting 2 hours from now, right? Okay, let's say, of course, you sit through the meeting, so kind of completed that, right? And you did what you wanted to do for the next meeting. That sounds great, but what really happened was you missed half or more of what was said in the meeting you were sitting in. And you were rushing, so there's misspellings, there's things in the wrong section for the document you were working on in the next meeting. So basically, you failed at both. What was the competitive advantage in doing that? Absolutely nothing. You're going to be embarrassed soon when that first meeting you were in congregates again because you don't know what happened in that meeting. And you're going to be embarrassed when what you typed or fast typed or fat fingered and didn't, proofread is on a huge screen for everybody to see. And it's just full of mistakes. And what did that do for us? That did absolutely nothing. We have to understand that, okay, I need to make more time and do one thing correctly. Because me doing one thing correctly is way better than doing two things half-assed. Take that with you. Believe that. Drills Talk, episode 84. These are the top 3 reasons multitasking is not a skill. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. It's drills.com. Check this shit out. It's Drills.